Hello, Hateless Gaming here, bringing you a mission on Marauders, actually, or a mission on Marauders. Yeah, well, we're gonna be doing a mission in a Marauder. But today I wanted to talk about how Marauders, post-patch with their insane buff that they got, are in mission running and in general, and how I feel about them, and a couple tips to survive. So this video is gonna be packed with information for you guys. As well as my thoughts and feelings, because we're going to be doing a large mission where we talk about Marauders. Today I have Mordu's Headhunters, which is a fairly large mission that I normally wouldn't run. And I picked this mission because it's long and there's a lot of things to shoot, and we're going to be running it in a Vargur. So without further ado, I guess I'll just give you guys a ship. We're already here on the acceleration gate. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my computers. So for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with the changes that have occurred, the Siege module got two new bonuses that are really important. The Bastion module got two new bonuses that are really important. The first is that the turret rate of fire is minus 50%, and the missile rate of fire is also minus 50%, meaning that the overall DPS of a Marauder got doubled while they're sieged. This comes with the downside that for them to be productive, they have to be in siege mode or in Bastion mode. So you kind of have to use them with Bastion mode to get the most out of them. But they weren't nerfed in any way. You still have their original DPS outside of Bastion. So they're still really solid. And they also made Bastion take less than 30 seconds per cycle. Which has a mixed effect here. And basically what that means is that we have a 30-second cycle time, and we don't have to worry so much about being caught with our pants down, because the window of opportunity to catch us is about 30 seconds plus the 10 seconds to for us to align and leave the site. So they have a 40-second window to catch us with our pants down, and we don't keep our pants down for more than 30 seconds at a time. One tactic that we use, as you can see, I am sitting here mashing D-scan in the corner of the screen here. Roughly every 30 seconds, we have to use the D-scan button. And since we have that available, if we see combat probes show up, we would drop siege and start aligning out to ensure our survival. And I'm sorry, but a cat appears to be making it very difficult for me to record this video. So as long as we watch D-scan and kind of pay attention, it's very difficult to catch a Marauder in the first place. They also got a really large buff in the form of their sensor strength. They got +9 sensor strength added to their base. That is for all the Marauders. And then the Siege module has a trait that is not as well known, and that is that the Ooh, I actually hit that. How did that happen? It was still flying towards me. It must have been that it was still flying towards me. But the second trait is that the Siege module gives a plus 10,000 or plus 1,000 sensor strength bonus. So that +9 ends up being +90 over the course of, or while you're sieged. What this means is that in the fitting window here, your sensor strength is really high compared to your signature bonus. And what that does for you is it makes you a lot harder to scan down. So even though we are sieged and can't move, we're now a lot more difficult to scan down. And so that makes it so it takes about 30 to 40 seconds, even with max skills, to scan us down. So if somebody's a perfect scanner and they do nothing but scan and know exactly where you're at, it's going to take them about 30 seconds, 30 to 40 seconds to scan you down, and then however long it takes them to actually warp to you and land on you. So you have more than enough time. If you're watching your D-scan, if every 30 seconds before your siege cycle ends, you're watching your D-scan to drop siege and leave if something were to go wrong. Yes, you can still get caught on gates and whatnot, but once you're inside your mission, you're pretty solid to run it, as long as you don't drop mobile depots, drones, or what's the last thing called? The mobile depots, drones, or mobile tractor units. You don't want to drop those next to you, as that will make you a lot easier to scan down, because instead of scanning you down, they can scan down those those tools that you use, and that's kind of frustrating that they can do that, but it's cost of operating. With double the DPS, you can see we are mowing down NPCs very quickly here. What I've noted is that for mission running, maybe not for level 5s or maybe not for DD sites, but for mission running, you don't need a lot of tank on Marauders. And for us here, we have our guns split. And that allows us to choose whether or not we want to focus on one target or do 2 targets. Sometimes when you're like shooting frigates or whatnot, it's better to split because you'll end up killing them a lot faster with the split targets rather than focus fire. We're going to go ahead and start dropping siege here in just a moment because we're almost done with this room. So the other part that I wanted to talk about is just how insane their DPS is. This is 2000 DPS with faction ammo. This isn't even tier 2 ammo. If we load hail, we get about 2700 with this fit. And we can get more DPS. We do only have 3 magnetic field stabilizers on this. We can drop a tracking enhancer for a magnetic field stabilizer, and we would end up netting quite a bit more DPS. We could easily get over 3k if we really wanted to, but I feel that optimal and tracking is more important for the Vargur overall, and we end up being fine. It doesn't really consume more ammo than it did before. It just does everything twice as fast with the siege module. So we're not going to get the hit on this guy really well. We did get a nice lucky shot there. We're going to go ahead and line, and then once we micro jump away, we'll have perfect tracking with it because it'll fly directly towards us. And I just screwed up and hit siege. And I'm probably just going to edit this little 30 seconds out. Or maybe not. We'll talk a little bit more about the Marauder. So while you're siege, you're a lot harder to track down. And you can see there's a heron on my D-scan, which tells me that we might want to start watching out for probes. And when we drop siege, we'll be a lot easier to scan down during that window when our siege is dropped because our signature radius isn't so high. So we just have to be aware. If we see combat probes, we just kind of got to wake up. I'm going to go ahead and hit the micro jump drive here. Watching out for combat probes. He may have just descanned me down to get my location as close as he can. And then once he locates my location, he might decide to start actually scanning me down. So now he's really far away. We still have the lock on him. We'll be able to use our transversal to get him. I do have a couple of other tips for mission running. And this is in general. The big one to stay alive in a Marauder is that you don't hang out at 0 on a beacon. If you're at 0 on the beacon, you notice the first thing that I did, the beacon's like right here, is I kind of jumped off the beacon and got ourselves away from it. By doing that, even if we do get scanned down and we're not paying attention, they still have to come to us in order for them to, actually kill us. So we're going to land in this mission. There's a beacon right here, or right around here, there's a beacon. And we are going to hit the micro jump drive and get off the beacon. I also like to carry a micro warp drive on all my Marauders for the same reason, to get off the beacon, because sometimes using a micro jump drive is less than ideal, and we just don't want to use the micro jump drive. And in this case, it puts us in a really nice spot with the NPCs. This mission does get a little intense. I believe this is, I don't think I've done a YouTube video with this mission yet, but I've done a little bit of streaming. We're going to knock out the frigates. We're going to go ahead and siege up here. I'm going to conserve cap, and we're just going to go ahead and start one-shotting frigates. And the reason we can one-shot them is because our transversal is really low because they're flying directly at us. And then the 2-second rate of fire because of siege makes it so we can just kind of knock them out. And I'm making specifically sure only to target things that are red boxing me because I don't want to draw more aggro than I need. That one's really close. I'll probably put both my guns on that because we're going to miss that guy a couple times. And I'm going to get a lucky shot, hopefully. I'm going to stop firing at it. We're wasting time. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this guy and this guy. I'm starting to lock up cruisers here. We are taking a bit of damage. We have more than enough reps, though. We just don't have the capacitor to support the reps all day. At any point after the second siege cycle, our micro jump drive is cooled down and we'll be okay. Just going to keep the guns on and continue locking up targets. Remember, Marauders have like 12 locked targets that they can run. I got lucky and I got that last frigate. We're going to go ahead and shut off the repper as our reps are repped. We're going to go ahead and kill the smaller things first because they have less HP per damage that they do. And we'll just go ahead and knock those out. Doesn't look like I'm going to get that shot off. Go ahead and do that. We're repping a bit. Go ahead and continue knocking these guys out. And we'll use that micro jump drive away trick again in just a moment here. We go ahead and rep up again. This is why Marauders are pretty great. They're difficult to scan down. We just watched D-scan for the combat pros. I said D-scan there again. And we get to just kind of clear most missions with impunity. And you don't need a lot of tank on your ship for it to function. As you can see, I have one hardener and a single repper on this ship. I don't have any implants or anything that make this easier for me. And I'm killing them about as fast as I'm locking them. My APM's fairly high right now. I'm actually clicking a lot. But like they eat missions really fast, and it makes for a really easy way of playing the game compared to other play styles where you have to be a little bit more. This is actually super active, so I guess the thought or the thinking about what you're doing isn't as intense, so you can just kind of play one account and chew on missions and make a little bit of ISK. The downside to this is that it doesn't make as much ISK as if you were, blitzing or actually running missions fast. So it's not an increase to people's ability to make ISK through mission running. I'm sure it'll help a lot of people like out in null-sec that are ratting as finding out where they are in combat scanning. It will take them a little bit longer. 30-second window isn't too bad, and the increased DPS might be worth the risk to reward. But I'm not sure on what people say about that or what they think. But the 30-second window is kind of nice. It's a lot shorter than you would think. You're only committing 30 seconds for every siege cycle, which is, again, fairly nice. We're just down to battleships here, and we're eating these guys up. We're going to go ahead and focus on battleships now. So I think that's pretty nice. And yeah, they just kind of chew on things. I'm not going to go into like specific fits, which Marauder is best. It's really hard to say which one's best. All four are really solid. What I will mention is that whichever space you're mission running in, or whichever space that you live in, so if you live in like Mimitar space, the Vargur is probably going to be best because it's more tailored to fight Angel and more tailored to fight like Blood Raiders, the opponents that are in that space. And if you're running in, say, Kaldari space, the Golem's going to be really good because it's the only one that has like kinetic weapons and does really good against Garistas. So whichever space you live in is probably going to be the corresponding Marauder that you want to fly. The Kronos is really good in Galente space, and the Paladin really good in Mars space. I do want to talk about the numbers that I've been getting flying Marauders. I've been flying them quite a bit and testing them out since the patch. I've been finding that Marauders make between 100 and 150 million ISK an hour, just kind of chewing on missions, not really worrying too much about what mission they're doing, but if they just go take a mission and go run a mission and come back and do that in high sec in a 0.5 system, variables relatively static compared to blitzing. It's a little bit better than just blitzing in a battleship. So if you were to like use a Macarial and only blitz missions and decline everything else and not run burners and just do missions, the ISK per hour is a little bit better, but it's not game breaking or mind bending like you would think it is. Getting double DPS, they're really not as fast warping around because they only have 2 rig slots, so you can only fit 2 hyperspatials on them if you really want to do hyperspatials. So that travel time that they have is really their Achilles heel for making ISK per hour. I do find that there's some missions which are exceptions. There's one mission called Buzzkill, which I noted makes about 270 million ISK an hour with flying a Vargur because it's against Angel and they're all elite NPCs that you shoot. You end up making a good chunk of ISK. I don't really think that it's worth salvaging behind a Marauder unless you are salvaging and it doesn't slow you down at all. So if you had like a Noctis in tow, and you were sharing bookmarks with like a friend or something, that person in Noctis would have plenty of work following you around. But most missions aren't worth going back to salvage, and then the increased risk isn't worth losing the ISK per hour, because you're better off just going and doing the next mission. And that's just kind of how I feel about it. So if you notice, I got off the beacon here. It did really well. And I do have data backing that up. I'll go ahead and switch over my monitor here, and I'll bring up my data here. So I've been doing missions about from here and up is the mission blitzes, and here and down is full clears using a Marauder. And we're finding that on average, there's some missions that are really good, like the blockade is worth 196 million ISK an hour, and there's some that aren't so great. This one being worth 84, and then like I said, Buzzkill is a major exception to being 275. But most missions like Worlds Collide, or I can't remember what mission this was. I'll probably take it again and get the same number and be like, oh, is that mission? Attack of the Drones is 112 million ISK an hour. Vengeance, the Angel Cartel variant, is worth 108 million ISK an hour. And that's just kind of the numbers that I've been noticing, and they seem pretty consistent regardless of where I'm at. And I'm sure that there are exceptions. There's probably a handful of missions that are really, really lucrative ISK per hour wise, where you would make a lot more ISK an hour than that per the mission. But on average, I'm seeing between 100 and 150 million ISK an hour per mission, which is pretty on point with what I'd expect if I was flying a 1.5, 1.6 billion-ish ship in high sec. Blitzing missions still makes more ISK, but it's not an insane amount of ISK more. I would recommend blitzing and like learning burners if you really want to make ISK in high sec, doing missions. But it does open up that kind of opportunity to just kind of roam around in a single ship and have a really nice time, is kind of where the Marauders are at. As you can see, we've fully cleared out Mordu's Headhunters in like 15 minutes. This clear speed is insane. I've made some mistakes too. We let these frigates get a little too close. We're going to have to wait to get out of siege. I don't really want to drop drones to kill them. We could, if we brought some, hobgoblins or something to clear this out. But with guns, there's a trick that I have. It looks like they're going to web me, so that trick's not going to work. With guns, if you kind of peel away and get like 15 kilometers away from them with a micro warp drive while they're chasing you, you get 0 transversal and you can just kind of pop them. But in this case, we'll just use the micro jump drive. We'll go ahead and knock them out. We do also want to note that after the siege cycle is over, we have about a 1-minute window where we can't take a gate or dock up. So you do want to keep that in mind, and if you think that there's a gank incoming or whatnot, you want to wait until the last second to warp off, and you want to land on the station and get docked up as soon as possible. But yeah, and just kind of make your insta-dock bookmarks and systems, make sure you're paying attention to D-scan, and your Marauder will live a nice long life. Well, you'll make a lot of ISK flying it. If you guys like this video, make sure you hop down and say something in the comments. If you have any questions for me about mission running in Marauders or mission running in general, make sure you ask them in the comments. I do my best to answer. And I just wanted to make a video just kind of talking about Marauders and how well they got buffed, as the buff to their DPS is pretty insane. I do see a lot of viable applications for them. From running DAD sites to potentially even running level 5s in null-sec, because the difficulty to scan them down, you just leave before, if somebody showed up in system, you'd start watching D-scan, you see the combat probes, you drop siege and you leave. They wouldn't be the easiest things to catch as long as you're paying attention and are aware of your surroundings. The micro jump drive adds a lot of flexibility and utility, protecting you, as does their just sheer ability to shoot back. If you do ever get caught in a Marauder, don't give up because you got caught. If they're suicide ganking you and you have 10 catalysts landing on you, lock them all up, fire back. There's a chance that you could kill about 6 or 7 of them, making their gank fail before Concord shows up. And then make sure you overheat your hardener and your repper in the event that you do get caught. and it will increase your odds of surviving. I personally like to put extra large shield boosters on my Marauders. It is complete overkill or having a dual armor rep. It is overkill on the rep, but in that situation where you're getting ganked, the extra reps do help. That they're not going to save you every time, but overheating things and firing back and not panicking when you do get actually caught with your pants down, because sooner or later it will happen. You'll just have a better time or a higher chance of survival. But the best survival tip that I have for you is literally don't get caught in the first place. We'll go ahead and travel on our way home here at Tengu. He's probably running a mission. I doubt that he's scanning because he's not accompanied by probes. But the number one tip is just don't get caught in the first place. Another reason why I really recommend the micro jump drive is that when you're coming through a gate in a Marauder, that's really your highest vulnerability point. So we're going to go into lane C here, and this is where I'm most vulnerable, 100%. Unless they have a scram to catch you, and you're going to land anywhere within 12 kilometers of the gate. So they can't really predict where you're going to be. So unless they have a scram in range of you, they're not going to be able to stop you from using your micro jump drive. So say we were getting ganked. My first thing, so say there were 15 stealth bombers right here, and they're flashing. We saw them. We know they're here for us because we're the only one coming through the gate. We would go location, insta-dock, align, micro jump, overheat, run. And then if we got scrammed, our immediate response is going to be to siege up. That'll double our reps. The micro jump drive is going to save you more often than not, because they'll have you about locked halfway through. And if they scram you immediately siege, because you're scrammed, you can't warp off anyways. And then you would start locking them up and fire back. There's a chance that you survive in this case, even against like 5 tornadoes. There's a chance that you survive because you killed 2 of them. They fail to gank. It's pretty simple, and we already have split guns, so we'll kill them twice as fast as normal. But your best bet to survive in a Marauder is not to panic and literally just fire back. Your safety set to green should allow you to fire at people that are criminal. Or should allow you to fire at people that are already shooting you. So you do want to run a green safety so you don't accidentally engage somebody that is that you shouldn't be engaging, and then give them the free tackle on you that you can't escape from, or Concord won't come and back you up. But if you buy yourself an extra couple seconds, sometimes that's enough for Concord to come save you. And they do walk a fine line because they want to keep their ganks cheap, and you walk a fine line because you want to survive. So with that being said, make sure you guys fly fun. Enjoy your time in EVE Online. I know I certainly do. And I absolutely love mission running. This buff has been fun for me. I've been really enjoying the Marauders. They make for a pretty calm play style, running missions in high sec. But fly fun. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below. And we'll see you guys in the next one. I'm just going to upload this one raw and unedited. I know that sometimes you guys like a little bit more curated, but it's kind of specific, like I'm talking about what I'm doing. If you guys like the content like this, make sure you say something in the comments. It does help guide me in what to make. We do have a change of schedule with my content creation overall, because I did get burnt out on EVE. I'm not going to lie. That's why you guys saw Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. You'll see Super Mario videos coming out here in a short minute. I'm going to go over my experience playing through Super Mario, and then I'm also going to do a StarCraft Let's Play series, kind of. I've been playing through the StarCraft campaign. I want to put that up on YouTube as well. But the change to the schedule is before I was streaming from 10 to 4 o'clock, 5 days a week, 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, and that burnt me out. The schedule change is going to be my time 12 to 4 o'clock every day on Twitch, or not every day on Twitch. It's Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes on Saturday. We're going to be streaming on Twitch from 12 to 4. So they're going to be 4-hour long streams 3 times a week. And then on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, I'm going to work the YouTube side of things, and that'll give me a more flexible schedule that I shouldn't burn out on. And then the last little tidbit here is that I'm going to kind of branch out and play different games. 1 out of 3 of videos will be something that is not Eve, or at least 1 out of 3 videos. I might exceed that ratio, I'm not sure, but I do want to diversify a little bit and kind of enjoy gaming overall, if that makes sense. Anyways, give me your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and we will see you guys in the next one. Fly fun and enjoy your time in EVE Online.